Containers aren't unloaded at the dock.
Watch out, Buster. Ow. I hear ya.
Hello, everyone, and good evening, and welcome aboard to Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals, number 480 shows counting this evening. This is just so wonderful to and uplifting. This Voices Carry for Animals has been going on air for almost 11 years at the end of next month. And it's been made successful because of all you former guests. Are wonderful, and the callers and the listeners out there. Can't thank you all enough out there to have you all on board, because we are the animals' voices, and we will be heard. Okay, because they don't have a voice, and we have to stand up for them and speak out for them and make those calls and sign those petitions and get with our legislators to help us to get their lives and futures better out there. My name is, I want to welcome all you new listeners out there. I hope you enjoy the show. It is coming live stream from Podbean podcast app. Okay, so if you're out there on the web and you want to listen in, just create an account. This is to interact. Okay, so you want to create a free account on Podbean web. Okay, and that is voices carry for animals dot podbean.com. And this is some simple steps here if you follow the directions. And that's go in and create the account, and then also follow and subscribe to the Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Okay, so it's pretty simple. And then you want to, if you want to interact on the app, what you want to do is go to a Podbean podcast and player, and you can reach that from either Apple Store or Google Play. And you'll download it free, and then you want to follow. This is very important. Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Okay, then you're in, and you can go in and interact in the live chat room. You'll love it. It's awesome. I mean, this Podbean app rocks. Okay, so please, I'm trying to get this built up. As for the ones that didn't know, that Blog Talk Radio closed down January the 31st of this year, and I just started this Podbean podcast February the 20th. So it's almost 3 months old already, and still learning. So I'm doing my best. Please like the show. Thank you, Mama Cat and everyone, and welcome to the live chat room. Okay. Hope you all enjoy the show. Thank you for all your support and everything, because without you, this show wouldn't exist. But after the show gets downloaded, and then I'm going to edit it, and it's going to be published. Okay, so you could always listen 24/7, where it's going to be located on my host website, and I'll give that out again: voicescarryforanimals.podbean.com. And if you stroll down, you'll see all the shows on there. There's going to be like 303 shows from Blog Talk that was transferred over. Okay, so you can go over. I got to keep all of them. And then on podserve.fm, it's the same, because I go after the show and I edit it and put it on there, and then it gets published on my two YouTube channels: Voices Carry for Animals podcast, subscribe free, and also Animal Advocates Radio podcast on YouTube channel. Subscribe. That channel was transferred over to me by John Boughton of All About Animals Radio. Big thank you to him. I hate to see him go. They closed down, and he's an awesome team player and a friend, and we're still in contact. That's the good news. But anyway, check those out, and I'm waiting for my guests to come in. And Darla came in. Hello, Darla, and anybody who wants to speak later, I will be taking calls. Okay, and I see my guest came in. Keith Dane, he is in. All right, Keith, you did it. But anyway, Keith, at the bottom of the screen, there's a phone icon at the lower right hand corner. Press that to alert me you want to come on air. Okay, and he is coming in. And Keith, are you there? This is wonderful. Can you hear me? I got you live on air. Welcome aboard.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. There he is, Keith Dane. Welcome back. This is modern technology, isn't it?
Well, anything new, you have to work out the kinks, and I think we did it. So,
hey, we're all newbies, and I look today, and I see where on what level, what level they give you and stuff. The more hours and shows you have, the more you move up. Okay, and I'm still in the newbie category of the level. I cracked up because I've been using that term. Hey, we're all newbies here, and then I see it on Podbean. So it's wonderful. So please, welcome back, Keith Dane, and he is the consultant for equine protection on Humane World for Animals, everyone, which was formerly Humane Society of the United States. And he's been on several times. He's a great guest. He's always welcome back. And keep all this information, so all the next time when you come back on, I just send you an email invitation and you're in. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yes, but we're going to be talking about the horse soaring this evening, everyone. This is a major issue out there, and I've had shows on it and everything. And Keith is, he's going to explain to you, for those that don't know, what horse soaring is, how you can help out, what the updates are on it, because they need to get rid of its animal cruelty front lines, right, Keith? I mean, it's terrible.
Absolutely.
But yes, and who pays the price? The horses. So we have to fight for them, everyone. And I've got on my website, Voices Carry for Animals website, voicescareforanimals.com. There is a petition on there right now, and I'm going to be sharing it after the show and tomorrow too, Keith, okay? For everyone to sign, and I'll be passing it all over the place. But you can subscribe free there. Please pass the word. You can share from the bottom of the promo to all the social media sites, okay? But go ahead and Keith, and we'll get you started and everything. But like I said, welcome back. And the good news is that these after this show gets downloaded, it's going to go to 24 other podcast websites or platforms, plus 2 YouTube channels, my web. So the word's going to get out there. Isn't that wonderful?
That's
We are
great.
not going to stop. So it's moving up. But go right ahead and tell me, refresh the audience, how you got started, because you started with Humane Society of the United States, which they changed their name to Humane World for Animals. Okay, everyone that didn't know that, because I just learned it previously. But go ahead, Keith. You're on air and ready to go. Go ahead.
Great. Well, thanks so much for having me, Debbie. And it's great that this is going to be broadcast on so many different, podcasts, because we really need to get the word out there to as many people as possible. So, as you and some of your guests may know, I have been involved in the fight to end soring for decades. Even before I came to the Humane Society of the United States, I was involved very heavily with private horse protection groups that we're trying to end soaring. So it's been a long struggle, and we make progress, and then we have some setbacks. And I'm going to talk to your folks about some of that today. Just in a nutshell, what soaring is a very cruel practice which is inflicted on 2 or 3 breeds, predominantly Tennessee walking horses, racking horses, and spotted saddle horses. And these breeds have been victims of soaring for decades. Going back to the 1950s and 60s, in fact, there was a federal law passed in 1970 that was supposed to outlaw it, but it didn't. So soaring, as I said, is inflicting pain on the lower limbs of these horses to get them to step high. And the way that they inflict this pain, and it's all intentional, is to use chemicals that are caustic, burning chemicals around the pastern or the lower leg of the horse. And then they'll wrap that leg with plastic wrap, which drives those chemicals into the horse's flesh. They then ride the horses with chains around their ankles, their pasterns, which hit that painful area after the plastic has been taken off. It hits that area, and it causes so much pain the horse essentially flinches. They lift their legs high to try to get away from the pain. This is done throughout the horse's life, starting at a very early age, usually around 18 months, right up until they're taken out of competition. They also put these horses on these tall platform shoes, what we call stacks, which are nailed to the horse's hooves, and they stay on as long as the horse is in competition. They have to take them off to reset them because the hoof grows out, but they nail them right back on. This causes the horse to squat behind because their front end is being elevated, and also causes pain in their limbs because it's such an unnatural angle that the horse is forced to stand and travel at. So these are multiple ways to soar the horse. Over the years, the perpetrators, the violators who do this to the animals, have come up with new ways, not only of soaring horses, but also of hiding it. One of their favorite ways of hiding it is on the pastern when the chemicals are used, is to use a numbing agent, either a topical agent that's applied to temporarily numb the horse's leg so they don't feel pain when they're being inspected at all the shows, or they will use an injectable, which is harder to detect because it's in the horse's bloodstream. So this has been going on for, as I say, over a half century. It's time for it to end. It's a horrendous practice. There's horses are in so much pain that quite often they'll be lying in their stalls and moaning and won't want to get up. They'll have to be whipped in order to get up, just to put a saddle on them and go ride them. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture has jurisdiction over this law, the Horse Protection Act of 1970, only at horse shows and in transport to horse shows, not in the training barn. So in many states, there are animal cruelty laws that prohibit soaring, but it's hardly ever enforced at the state level. So really the federal level at the horse shows and events is the only place to get relief for these horses. The problem is that back in 1976, USDA, at the urging of Congress, came up with a plan to allow the industry to do self-inspection, self-policing. So what that means is the industry trains and licenses their own inspectors that go to the vast majority of the shows. And a lot of these inspectors are participants in the industry. They're breeders, they're owners, trainers, and even exhibitors. And so the people that are bringing their horse in front of them to be inspected are their buddies. So what do you think is going to happen? Of course, just like with any industry self-enforcement scheme, it fails because the inspectors turn a blind eye to the soaring that's going on. So there have been several efforts over the years to try to break this cycle and not only end the industry self-policing and put USDA fully in charge of the inspections, but also to ban the devices that are part of the soaring process, the chains that are used to hit against that soared leg, and also the platform shoes that cause pain. So there is a federal bill that's before Congress that we'll talk about a little bit later called the Prevent All Soaring Tactics Act. That has been introduced for the last 10 or more years, and it has been voted on twice in the House of Representatives by an overwhelming margin. It was passed, but it's never gotten a vote in the Senate. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Right now, though, the most immediate thing going on is USDA, because it is in charge of enforcement of the Horse Protection Act, is able to set up regulations that say how they're going to enforce the act. And they've had those all along, ever since the law was passed. But recently, they proposed an amendment to their regulations, which would have done a lot of what needs to be done to end soaring. It would have gotten rid of the industry self-policing scheme. We call it the HIO, or Horse Industry Organization Program. And it would also eliminate the stacks and the chains from use in the show ring. So USDA had proposed this same rule back in 2017, but unfortunately, when President Trump came into office the first time, he put a freeze on all regulations that had not yet been implemented, and then his administration didn't do anything with it. During the Biden administration, USDA did do something with it and released a new proposed rule, which was finalized in April of last year, April of 2024. That rule was supposed to take effect in February of this year, February 1st. Unfortunately, one of the leading, largest organizations in the walking horse industry that promotes what we call the big lick, the high stepping horse that is so often produced through the soaring process, sued USDA. That's the Tennessee Walking Horse National Celebration, the largest of the horse industry organizations. And they sued them in a Texas U.S. District Court over key components of the rule that they didn't like. And that lawsuit was filed in July of last year. It was supposed to take effect in February of this year. When President Trump took office this time, the second term, he again directed all federal agencies to consider delaying the implementation of any rule that had not yet taken effect for about 60 days in order to review whether there were any conflicts that should prevent the rule from being implemented, and also consider whether any further delays were warranted, which of course we believe they are not. The USDA announced right around that time that it was going to delay implementation of the rule, in part because the decision by the Texas court was still pending at that point. However, the district court did rule at the end of January, and unfortunately, they struck down portions of the rule and ordered them to be vacated, which means withdrawn. So the ban on the stacks and chains, the judge said the USDA exceeded its authority to ban, to do. So those stacks and chains are still allowed under the current regulations and under this rule. We find that very unfortunate because we don't think the judge really understood how integral the stacks and the chains are to the soaring process. If you don't have the stacks and chains, the horse is not going to do the big lick. If you don't have the soaring, the horse is not going to do the big lick. So they're all part of the same process. At any rate, the other key component of the rule that was upheld, which is very important, is the elimination of the industry self-policing scheme and its replacement with a new system of inspections. So the inspectors that the industry uses, called DQPs, or designated qualified persons, would go away. That program, as I said, been a failure in enforcing the Horse Protection Act. And it's not just me or Humane World for Animals saying it. The rest of the horse industry, the veterinary community, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine did a year-long study and determined that the industry inspectors were doing a bad job and they should be replaced. So just about everybody is saying that this program needs to change. And USDA itself has said that it has been a failure on numerous occasions over the years. So the remaining portion of the rule that's still in effect is the elimination of the industry program. However, USDA has once again decided to delay implementation of the rule until February of next year, February 1 of 2026. And they're saying that, they were in the process of training these new inspectors, horse protection inspectors, but they were training them on no chains and no stacks being allowed. And now they are still allowed. So they got to retrain them on how to implement the law using the stacks and chains, in having them in use. So we think USDA did not need to delay another 8 months or so to implement this rule. We don't support the delay. We certainly don't support any further delay. However, the USDA has put out a request for public comment asking the public whether they should delay the rule any longer than February of next year. So we have, Humane World for Animals has an action alert, which I know, Debbie, you're promoting, where everyone can take action by telling USDA that they should implement this new rule as soon as possible, and there should be no further delays. So we're really pleading with everyone listening to take action at that action alert. It's already pre-filled. You don't have to write anything yourself unless you want to add a comment, but it's already pre-filled with what we're asking USDA to do, which is implement this rule, this elimination of the failed industry self-policing scheme, ASAP, but certainly no later than February of next year. So I'll stop there and see if anything is unclear. Debbie, if there's anything that you'd like to ask or add, I know that's a lot, but it's all important that your listeners know what's going on, and those are the details on that portion of this.
Yeah, and thank you for all your continuing and ongoing, support for these horses and everything. I mean, you're doing such an outstanding job, and you know what? You don't give up, and that's what's great about it. Quitters never win, and winners never quit. Right? We cannot give up, everyone. Get out there and share and sign whatever you need to do. Spread the word. Once you sign it, share it, please. And I'll be getting that out on X and also LinkedIn and Facebook, okay, Keith? Because it takes teamwork. Strong leaders and strong supporters leads to strong victories, everyone. And we are all in it to win it, not lose it for the animals. And that's from all angles. So we have to, every effort counts out there. And that's why this Podbean podcast, it goes out to all these other podcasts, platforms and everything, trying to really build it up. And Keith, recently I just found out the great news is on player.fm. One of my podcast, Voices Carry for Animals, is on the top of the 2025 podcasts. Isn't that wonderful? One of them. And
Fantastic.
yes, and also I just found out the other night, goodpods.com, or the one on player.fm is on the top for animal welfare podcast. The one on goodpod.com is on the animal rights, one of the top podcasts for 2025. So this is moving up, okay? And I got to stay strong and keep going, because that's what it takes, is take strong teamwork and working together, going for them goals, going for them victories, and making these animals have better lives and futures. Because this shouldn't take this long. I mean, I mean, the longer these victories take, the longer the animals suffer. So it's you have a choice here. Use your voice and your action. Take that action, or we're not getting anywhere. This platform, we I could sit there and we could talk and talk and talk, but if we don't take action, we're only spinning our wheels, everyone. And I know you don't want that feeling, okay? So please tell your friends, your family, your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, coworkers, neighbors, and make them alert of what is going on behind the scenes, because these animals are really suffering. And just for for profit over people, and that's a no. They're not even caring how they feel, right, Keith? And it's terrible.
That's right.
it, and it's sad. So we have to I will keep going. I said, Mama Bear is on a roll, okay? And everyone, I was so excited about this show having Keith back on. I forgot to give him, my name, Debbie Dahmer, aka Mama Bear. Okay, Mama Bear does care because he's on the air. But thanks you for all of you joining. And Keith came back and give them your support. Get on their website. They have other petitions on there. I've said, get on there and sign, and it doesn't take that long. I mean, I could get it signed, bam, sent, gone, and share it. And yeah, Mama Cat says give you you could give your website and other social media listings, but she's a former guest on here. Mama Cat Ray Bittner for the community cats. She's has a big heart for community cats, over 100 of them, Keith. And when they see her coming in the colonies with food and water, they give her a standing ovation. Thank you, Mama Cat. Yeah, but go right ahead.
Great. Well, that's wonderful. And thank you, Mama Cat, too. So there are some things going on in Congress. The USDA is an agency of the federal government, of the Trump administration now. But in Congress, there's two things going on. One is, as I mentioned earlier, the Prevent All Soaring Tactics Act has been reintroduced in the House of Representatives. It has almost half of the House as co-sponsors, people who have said, I support this bill and I will vote for it if it comes up for a vote. That bill has been, as I said, voted on twice over the years in the House of Representatives, two different Congresses, and both times it passed by about a 3-1 margin. We're going to keep pushing this bill because it needs to pass. The Horse Protection Act would be amended by this bill, and the Horse Protection Act needs to be amended. These loopholes that USDA was trying to close, and still is to some extent, would also be permanently closed by federal legislation. If you change the law, it's very hard to unchange it or to not have it be enforced. So the PAST Act, PAST, which is the bill number is HR, that stands for House of Representatives, HR 1684. Your listeners can go to the Humane World website and sign that petition, and that will send a message to your representative and your two senators, urging them to co-sponsor and support and help pass this bill. The website is Humane World, all one word, humaneworld.org/no soaring, NOSORING, humaneworld.org/no soaring. And that will help express the public support for this and get Congress to take action. It wasn't voted on in the last House of Representatives, the last Congress, but we hope that if we can get over the 50% mark, that we'll be able to convince leadership that this bill needs to come up for a vote again. So that's one thing going on in Congress. The other thing is, which is not so good, and not good at all actually, is that over the years, decades really, some members of Congress from southern states where soaring is prevalent have historically done the bidding of these violators, these horse soarers, by interfering in USDA's efforts to crack down on the practice and even trying to block this rule we've been talking about, from ever being implemented. One of those members who is currently doing this is the House Oversight Committee Chairman, James Comer from Kentucky. His committee has conducted an investigation into USDA's enforcement of the Horse Protection Act and has sent nasty letters to USDA, basically challenging their enforcement, questioning why they're enforcing it and how they're enforcing it. He's also sent a letter to the new Agriculture Secretary, Rollins, urging that the rule be abolished altogether. So, not just part of it be struck down like the court did, but having the whole thing abolished, which would be a major setback. And we can't let that happen. Doing so would leave in place an inspection system that has allowed these soarers to continue to get away with their abuse undetected and unpunished, and we just can't allow that to happen. There's no action that your listeners can take unless they happen to live in Representative Comer's district in Kentucky, in which case they could send an email or make a phone call to him saying, stop doing this. The other representative who is joining him in this call for the rule to be abolished is John Rose of Tennessee, who has actually expressed his interest in becoming governor when the election for governor is held next year. Rose has also been interfering and similarly prodding USDA and complaining to USDA about their enforcement of the Horse Protection Act. And he signed on to this letter with Comer, urging them to abolish the rule altogether. So if you live in John Rose of Tennessee's district or James Comer's of Kentucky, you can reach out to their offices and urge them to stop what they're doing and let USDA do its job, which is to end horse soaring. So those are the highlights I wanted to give. The two actions your folks can take are to weigh in on that rule and urge USDA not to delay its implementation any further, and also contact your members of Congress at that humaneworld.org/no soaring website and tell your members of Congress that you want them to get this law passed and close these loopholes in the Horse Protection Act once and for all.
That's right. Let's end it. Let's get it over because, let these horses enjoy, their freedom and away from anxiety and pain because, they're in a lot of pain. I mean, just describing what they're doing on this horse soaring. And this should be banned completely years ago. So whatever we do, everyone, like Mama Cat says, we are strength in numbers, we're power in numbers. We are the animal's only hope for change, positive changes. So if you want to see at the end, get involved and be a part of it. How you can help out. Spread the word, spread it on social media, X and Facebook, LinkedIn, all of them out there. Because when that gets in that news feed, more action takers you can get on board. Pressing the like it deserves no justice, or the laugh button, or the hate, the mad or whatever. Press that share, and that's with all social media out there because they need our help. We are their only hope to carry on, and I love hearing them victories because I do whether I was involved or not. Hey, that shows proof of strength in numbers, people working together to make changes out there, positive changes, because you can always bring the negative into the positive. It just takes work. It's not going to happen overnight. So never give up. Don't give up on any of them. Because if we lose, if we quit, we automatically lose for the animals. And look at Keith; he's still going, and he's going strong. Stand up for what you believe in, and don't fall. Take that action, please, because that's what it takes. We want to keep these victories keep coming in. Not let them stop. Because once the victories come in, hey, these animals coming in with better lives and futures. We have to, contact our legislators. We go out and vote, right, Keith? We go out and vote.
That's
We
right.
vote them in and we vote them out, okay? So be a part of them, not just vote and disappear. I've had so many, I don't even know who my representative is. I go, well, guess what? It's not too late. You can find out. I never contacted them. Hey, it's not, the only time it's too late is when we're dead, okay? That's when it's too late. So make your voice heard because it does matter. It does matter each and every way out there for the animals. Because all these podcasts I do, Keith, is for all animals in need and distress. So we have to work together. And it's not a pretty picture out there. I wish I could say it was, but it's not. That's why I have this podcast, and that's not the only thing I do is host and produce on this. I go out there and help wherever I can, to make it make it better. Here comes another person. I've had guests on here that have got connected with other guests of mine from this show. Isn't that wonderful? And working together, even with the listeners or the callers, hey, what is that? Make friends. It's a human chain reaction to take action. Can't take credit for anything, but I am involved, okay? And that's what it takes. And once the victories come in, I'll do the happy dance, right? Just like with with all this good news coming about this new podcast. I said, you know what? Hey, I'm glad I stayed strong and didn't drop Voices Carry for Animals podcast just because Blog Talk shut down. I had to keep going. That was my goal, and I did it.
Well,
It's a,
kudos to you, for Debbie, for doing that. You can't give up, and none of us can give up on any of these fights. I did want to mention, you said that some folks don't know who their elected officials are. If you don't, first of all, you can just Google "find my members of Congress," and it'll take you right to a page where you can just plug in your address, and it'll tell you who your members of Congress are. But that action alert on the PAST Act, that humaneworld.org/no soaring, that will automatically send the message right to your member of Congress. You don't even know who they are. You need to know who they are. You just need to put your name and address in. We know who they are. Humane World knows who they are. They will send that message right to your member of Congress. So don't worry about that. The other thing I wanted to mention regarding the pain that these horses suffer as a result of soaring, sometimes they are in so much pain that their bodies shut down and they develop what's known as colic, stress colic, and this can kill horses. In fact, it has been known to kill horses. They die from the pain and the reaction that their body has to such intense pain that they just can't take it. So it's not just hurt pain in their feet when they're being trained and shown, which is bad enough. That's horrible. But these horses can actually die from this. And I think that just drives home how hideous it is. It's intentional, it's widespread. You can't be a top winner in this industry, the walking horse or racking horse industry, unless your horse has been sored. And I'm talking about the big lick segment with the high stepping horses. Most of the walking horses that are shown naturally with a small shoe, and they don't step so high, and they're not sored. They're trained humanely. And those people are in the majority. It's this small minority of criminals, these hideous people that want to hurt these horses, that are getting away with this and have been for too long.
yeah, it's been way too long. I mean, it needs to stop. And everyone out there, please, spread the word out there. Probably a lot of people don't even know about horse soaring, okay? And alert them, let them know what's going on and how they can help out. Because once you hear this, what's going on with them, it just like, whoa, makes your stomach churn. You mean these beautiful, innocent animals, horses, are going through this kind of pain, and oh, it's terrible. I know we can all do better, and let's do it. Let's work together and do it because we they cannot come on this show and say, "Hey, I'm in a lot of pain. Can you help me?" They can't do that. So we know from all the things that's going out there behind the scenes, you know, there is no need to have horse soaring. It's terrible. It's putting them in so much pain and agony, and keep it up because that's what we need out there is more of you and more organizations that, hey, when they have their all their names together, sponsoring it and going for it, hey, that brings more power to it. So, and I know there's a lot of issues out there that needs addressed, in the spotlight, but everyone out there, please do what you can out there and help these animals. They need our help. Okay, it's been way too long, and a lot of these shows, it's the same thing. They need our help. Issues been going on for year after year, decade after decade. They're they're creating laws, but they're not getting nowhere. It disappears or, fizzles out. And we can't do that with this. We got to keep it hot and going, so But that's what it takes, And also on the Humane World for Animals, everyone, like I mentioned before, there's all these other letters already ready, typed up. Put your info in there and send it. The more of us that do that, and this is huge. And even Humane Society of the United States International changed over to the name to Humane World for Animals. I seen that. So they didn't go nowhere. It's just a new name, okay, everyone. So they're on Facebook. Where else? It's Facebook and X, and I don't know. I'm not sure if they're on what's the other one? X, Facebook, LinkedIn, but they're out there. So follow or see how you can help out, and especially with this show this evening. You could go on Congress.gov and put that HR 1684 on there, and you could create an account on Congress.gov. Okay, and I know I have one on there, and I get, I set it up, look the bill numbers up, and I set up where I get alerts if that bill, gains any co-sponsors or any amendments or anything. It is a awesome website. Okay, and please, and then you're on top of it. You got it right there, and I get it in my emails. So Congress.gov, everyone. And if you want to, the PASS Act, HR 1684, keep up on updates on it, and contact them state representatives and get more co-sponsors. And how many for this past year? How there was over 200 and some co-sponsors for the 23-24, right?
Yeah, about
That's
245, I think.
wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot of co-sponsors.
yeah, it's
You
well
know,
more than half.
whoa. See, and now we're starting up again. So now we're going to have, I don't know, how many co sponsors do they need to get a floor vote from the House or the Senate? Because
Well,
that seems a lot of co sponsors,
yeah,
245.
yeah. Well, most bills only get to the floor if the Speaker of the House decides to allow it to come up for a vote. There is a mechanism by which, if a bill gets to 290 co-sponsors, which is two-thirds of the House, they can automatically, the sponsor of the bill can automatically petition or ask to have the bill put up because it shows that there's overwhelming support. We didn't quite get to 290 last Congress. We did, I think, in the previous two Congresses. But in the last few years, there's been so much going on in our government, in politics, and in our country that it's really hard to keep legislators focus on animal protection issues. So we've seen many bills that have enjoyed, huge co-sponsorship support dip a little bit. Every 2 years, a new Congress is elected, and sometimes people retire or they get kicked out of voted out of office that might have been a co-sponsor. And when they leave, then we got to try to get their successor to understand the issue because it is a fairly involved issue and care enough about it and get their constituents to care enough about it that they agree to co-sponsor. So we're working on building that number back up. I don't know if we'll get to 290 this Congress, but we'll aim for that. But we'll certainly have over half the Congress, the House of Representatives, and hopefully the Senate too. I should mention the Senate bill has not yet been reintroduced by Senators Crapo of Idaho and Warner of Virginia. We expect that they will be doing that hopefully before too long. And that bill, the Senate version, also got a majority of co-sponsors in the last several Congresses. So we know if these bills are brought for a vote, they're going to pass. They have twice in the House. Unfortunately, the Senate has never given it a vote, but if and when they do, we know we've got the votes to pass it. So it's just a matter of keeping the pressure on, keeping the public support for these things going, and again, letting the lawmakers hear from us, which I know your listeners are all going to do. So I appreciate that.
Hey, anytime. And, teamwork, everyone, get your voice heard out there. Don't be silent, please, because you could be in contact with them. Be professional and polite, and I have the number, if you to call is area code 202-224-3121. find your representatives. Give your zip code, and it will lead you to, ask to speak to your representative or your senator. And if it's during the week, and most likely you won't get to speak to them, but leave a message or write an email. You can do, like I said, be professional, polite, or they'll kick you to the curb. Okay, and we want to be, ask them, hey, so, can you please co-sponsor this HR 1684? The PAST Act, okay? And even after hours, and the weekends, you can leave voicemails, okay? I've done that before. So, whatever it takes, area code 202-224-3121, and give your zip code, okay? And then, well, like Keith was saying, you can find your state representative or find your senator right there on the computer, internet, and they'll lead you. And you can write them emails. I've done that many times, or write them letters. They have the address there. Make them phone calls, making appointments. I've done that. So there's so many ways you could interact with your state lawmakers or your senators, and let them know you care and you want their support also, because that's what it takes. They are the big dogs, right, Keith?
That's
They're the
right.
ones that get the laws, so we have to look at them. Every organization out there has to connect with them. They just can't make changes unless they connect with their lawmakers. So we have to keep the pressure up and keep it going to see this ended. I would love to see a victory again. I mean, with this one, not again because there hadn't been a victory, but we want to see one, everyone. The victories that do happen is like, wow, look at this. This takes a lot of teamwork, and it's proof that when we all work together as a team, we will see positive changes. Okay. So never give up, because that's what it takes. And please, connect with congress.gov and create that free account. Get alerts so you can, keep up on it, and don't, look away, because it's very important stuff. Laws are very important here in America. Okay, we cannot look the other way. You want support. You want as much support as you can, because that's what it takes. And if anybody, Keith, are you ready to have any callers that have any questions or comments? And this is not like blog talk. If I want to run over, past 7 o'clock, it's fine, okay? Because blog talk, I used to put it for an hour, and I could have done it longer, but it's too late for that. I'm over here now. So if anybody wants to speak to Keith with any comments or questions, you're more than likely to come on air. Okay, try to stay away from any radios, TVs, conversations, and you're more than welcome to come on board. Just press the phone icon at the bottom of the right hand of the screen and alert me that you want to come on air. This
Yeah,
is
it'd
the
be great to have some callers come in with questions or comments. But I wanted to quickly let folks know that in addition to the outlets that you mentioned, the social media, the Humane World for Animals is also on Blue Sky as well as Instagram. So if anybody is on those and follows, social media on those platforms, Humane World for Animals is on those too. So
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And they're huge. I mean, I looked on how many likes and followers and all that. So they are worldwide, okay? So get it out there, make them posts. It's so very important. Let's see these animals get away from that horse soaring. These horses, because they so well deserve. It's been so long, and there's no excuse for it. It's animal cruelty, and they're in pain, and it's suffering. No, let's do something, you guys. This is, that HR. Um, what is it? It's HR. What is that?
1684.
1684. Everyone, pass that. Go do help your, go to the website and educate yourself more on it so you can explain it to others. And I don't think they're going to agree with it. It's going to make their stomach churn. Okay. And then you'll get more support. Hey, sign this, or give them the website to sign it, because that's how we can take action and do something. I mean, that's why I'm having these podcasts, and so glad that it's going out to 24 other podcast platforms, their Keith, and 2 YouTube channels on my website, because it is now, it's more than ever after 10 and a half years. And I wish this happened years ago, but it's too late for that now. I'm not giving up. So getting the word out, my goal is to attract more active action takers. Because listeners, you can have as many listeners as you want, okay? But if they don't take action, we're only spinning our wheels. We want to see them active action takers out there, everyone. Because I know, you know, all of you out there got super team players out there that help me out there to promote these shows, to help me share posts. Big thank you to fans of animal rights. I mean, this list is huge, okay? It takes me 2 hours just to give names out because I can't do without you. I know I'm a one woman operation here, and but when it comes to promoting it, and I can't thank all of you enough, okay? Because it takes a lot. It's not easy. It's never easy. But all of you out there need your help, especially with these shows. Get them up there. Let's go to another level. I'm in the newbie level, so that's a start. I like that name, newbie. And me and Keith were newbies, Mama Cat, all of us. But make them comments. There's ways you can, on this, all these messages in this chat room is going to be that gets recorded and on the website. So I can put on there. I can make some. You can share right from this live chat room. This is what you call modern technology. Okay, right to any the X and the Facebook and the LinkedIn. So whatever we can do to make it happen, right, Keith? I mean, we are not giving up. We are
Never.
relentless. We are relentless. and
Absolutely.
and all the super team players I got that help me out, that's also in this chat room, former guests, and I mean, I'm so thankful for all of you out there for helping me out, because I can't do it alone. It's impossible. I need teamwork. It is like, it helps me. It helps, and it inspires me to keep going, because I know with your supporters, Keith, that it inspires you to keep going.
That's
You're not
right.
giving up. You've been fighting for so many years, and you said, no, I'm not backing down. I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to keep going. He's proactive all the way, everyone. Let your voice be heard. We can't get nowhere just complaining or what's going on. And that's not going to get nowhere. Be all action. Let's talk, and we'll get some stuff done, right?
Totally.
Yeah, that's what it takes. Be all action, everyone. Okay, does anybody want to speak? Because I'm all, it's all 10 till 7 here. If it's okay with you, we'll run, some, run over some, okay, Keith?
Sure.
So it's no problem, because this Podbean, I'll tell you, they rock. This podcast, I wish I found them 10 years ago. I know Blog Talk had a call in number, and it got too comfortable or something. But there was no other ones that have a call in number. This is the closest. Download that app. Follow Voices Carry for Animals, and you're in the chat room. It's not that difficult. I get some of them say, "Nope, that's too hard for me. I can't deal with it." I said, "You got to at least try if you follow the instructions."
Not
you
that
know,
hard.
that's right. Hey, Mama Cat,
Hey, Mama
welcome
Bear.
aboard. Meow. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I really like doing these shows, in this chat room and everything. Keep going. 11 years next month, at the end of next month. And you've been on the show and a lifesaver so many times. Meow.
And
The mama
and to,
cat.
and to
Yep.
think, Debbie, the first time you invited me on your show, I was a nervous wreck. I was afraid. I was afraid I would run out of stuff to talk about. Ha!
Oh no. And you helped me when there was an emergency situation, where the guest couldn't come on or something happened, and then you were right there. So you helped. I didn't want to shut down the show, but you was right there, and I asked you, and you can't thank you enough. And you're always welcome back, and you've been a part of this. All of you are a part of the Voices Carry for Animals family, and that's not going to change. Once you're in, you're in, and I love having the guests back. You know, many times. The more exposure, the better, right? But go ahead, Mama Cat.
That's right, Debbie. And, I also want to thank you because you've helped me gain my voice, get a stronger voice. I've been able to spread my wings, so to speak, and go in other directions. I mean, my main focus is always going to be cats, but I've been able to figure out a way to help in different areas, signing petitions, calling senators and congresspeople, and um, sharing and coming on here and helping spread the word. And so I want to thank you for all you do for us and helping us get our voices out there. And Keith, I want to thank you for all your hard work. I know you've been busting it like crazy trying to get these laws passed, and everything short of standing on your head in the halls of Congress. And so I just want to thank you for all your hard work. It's a very important cause, and I sign your petition every time I see it and I share it. And there you go.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for taking action and sharing. That's so important. Really appreciate it.
Yes, he does. Super team player out there, and so's the rest of them that's in this chat room. Thank you all enough, and you're so welcome, Mama Cat. We work together. That means so much. We're out there and trying to do our best. There's so many shows. I can't help all of them out. I'm bringing them on air, yes, but after that, you're talking like what 480 shows this evening. So it's kind of hard to help all of them out. 'Cause there's been a lot of them on there many times. But hey, every effort counts out there,
That's right.
right?
And just think of how many ears have heard your shows and how many lives you've helped create and change. And I'm sure that people that hear you join advocacy and they figure out that we can't all do the same thing. And we all have our strengths, and we all have things that we're better at or like to do more, or whatever. And some people can financially help, some can help with their time, some help with just sharing. And it all adds up. And the more people that we have following and helping and doing those sorts of things, it just makes it easier. We need to pull up into our ranks of rescue more people. I'm not getting any younger. And, I'm hoping that I've touched enough lives to keep the advocacy going. And that's just really, a big deal to me. So
That's true. That is so true. But what I'll do, Mama Cat, is get this petition, the letter, and I'll, put it on my timeline or our Voices Carry for Animals podcast page on Facebook, and then share it from there, and hit everywhere, and
no,
even on X and LinkedIn, and reshare because not everyone's on social media same times and days.
no.
You
And
have different time zones,
right.
you know.
And yesterday, it's funny, my life insurance company called me. Um, and I was talking to the lady that I deal with over there, and I don't know, we were just talking, and I brought up the show for tonight. So Karen, I hope you're listening. But I am trying to. She didn't know anything about like the roundup and the horse sort. She didn't know anything about it, and her husband are real big into horses. So I gave her the information, and I hope she is listening in.
Yes, there's quite a few out there that don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and because we all get busy with our lives, working lives and our family lives and everything. So there's a lot out there that don't know, and it
Absolutely.
and it just get them an alert and say, hey, can you take a little bit of time to help us out? Let's do it. Let's take care of it, right?
That's right.
And it doesn't take that long. It's amazing what I could do within an hour, okay, on this computer and stuff. It's amazing. It makes my
Yeah.
head spin. I'm, sign petitions, sharing, bring up 4 tabs. I mean, I'm fast. And and what's good is all these shows from Marty Oakley TS Radio from my first show back in June of 2014 is all stored. I got to save them from Blog Talk Radio. Isn't that wonderful?
That
And
is,
Marty,
yeah.
yeah, Marty passed away April 1st of 2023, and may she rest in peace. She was a super team player, taught me everything I know. She helped me set up. All these shows are on, Podbean or Voices Carry for Animals Animals.podbean.com. Go and listen to them 24/7. That's the 303 shows I did on Animal Advocates Radio. But the ones on hers are on podserve.fm. Okay. And also on podchaser.com, and you just search Voices Carry for Animals, and they're all going to pop up. So please keep spreading the word because they're very informative, educational, all great guests. I mean, that's what it takes, right?
It
You
does.
can't, and to keep listening, not only listen, but take that foot in the right direction and take that action to help with the things. I take my anger into action. That's how, what my solution is. Okay, I can't just look the other way or ignore it, or I have to do something to make it. Because I'm not going to stop there. Because there's all kind of stuff out there that can be changed. Positive changes.
Well,
They
Debbie, I know that you've got the House of Representatives and the Senate on speed dial. So, I know you do that.
Yeah, they even know my voice.
They're
Okay.
like, oh, her again.
Last time I called one, he says, "Where you been?" Oh, did you miss me? Okay, I'm back now. Okay, but
I'm back.
yep, I'm back. So that's what it takes, everyone. And I love all your support. That's what it takes. It inspires me and uplifts me to keep going. And that's with Keith too. Give him your support, whatever you could do to help out with this. Let's end horse thorn. Let's see a major victory come through. It's
Yeah.
been years of hard fighting, and you get. I know you get down, you and out and stuff, but pick yourself back up and say, "I'm going to do this. I'm not giving up." You know.
Well, look at it this way. If those horses that are being abused and whatever they're all doing to them, if they can get up, we can get up for them. Okay. And I just look at their poor little legs. I've seen videos and it's horrifying what they do to them horses.
Yes,
Um, so, they need us to stand up. We can't hide our eyes and, go sit in a corner and pout. We need to stand up, make those phone calls, sign those petitions, get this ended, call your representative and ask them why in the hell they're not supporting this. Excuse my French. But, politely ask them that. Get them to sponsor or co sponsor this bill, and we need to get this across the finish line.
that's right.
I thought
And
we already passed it, actually.
no,
No,
yeah,
I know that now, but
and I can't believe it's 245
yeah,
co-sponsors on the House side. It's like, whoa, there is so much
yeah,
support there.
yeah,
So 290. Okay, let's rock and roll, everyone. Let's do it.
yeah.
Okay, let's rock it and let's get there. And it's going to take all of us to do it. I can't do it by myself. Mama can't get it, and neither can Keith. So let's rock it. Okay, let's give him
Yes,
your support. So Keith will do the happy dance too with us. Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
I, I sent you a friend request, Keith, so
Oh,
that I
great.
can share right off your profile there on Facebook. So,
Excellent. Yep.
Wonderful. Yes. All right. Good news. See how we on this platform we come connect and bring in more human chain reaction to take action right here. I love seeing that. Working together. because we're all better and stronger together than apart, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
that's we cannot give up. The more we get, the more comes in on board. Hey, the stronger we get, and the more action. The action takers. So
That's right.
that's what it is. And after the show, everyone, I'm gonna edit it, and get it published, and when it shoots out there and everything, please share it again because there's out there that's not even you know they're late or they missed it or tomorrow because all these people coming in on the social media from all sites is different times and days. So that's why you'll see me sharing petitions many times over and over, a couple of days later, or protests, or whatever is out there to gain more attention, to gain more shares. Because once it hits that news feed, it's on a roll. That's where we want to get. So tell Facebook to get rid of that like button, so we all have a share. How's that sound?
That's right.
Tell them we don't need that. Even though I press it too, so I have no room to talk. The like, the love,
Yep. I
but
put those two.
that horse horn, we're all team players here, and let's do it. So, but anyway, does Mama Cat, you can stay on there. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Keith Dane, consultant for equine protection for a human world for animals? How's that? Always welcome back, Keith. It's always an honor to have you. It's
Well, it's an honor to
wonderful.
be here. And if anyone does have questions later, they want to
Hi.
contact me. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
go ahead. Aloha. Right? How
Hello.
you doing there, Earlham?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Hi, Keith. Hi, Debbie. Good
Hi.
evening.
Hello.
Good evening from Wheeling, West Virginia. And Keith, I want to thank you so much for speaking up for the horses and burros on World Donkey Day today, May 8th. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
Thank you so
nice.
much.
it's my pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, the donkeys are very much in need of our help and protection as well. Fortunately, they're not sword, but they are at risk of going to slaughter and things like that. So
For
it's
their
really,
meat as well. If I,
yeah.
it's been a while since I've got involved. I'm doing a balancing act as an animal rights activist with various animals, the burros, the horses, the dogs, and thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, but you make friends with them on Facebook there.
Yeah, I will, and I'll send you a Facebook friend request. I'm under a different name though. That this is just my username, Aloha 1978.
Aloha is their username.
But I'm under Harry Lynn Sampson, so I'll send you a Facebook friend request.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you
You-
so much,
wonderful.
Keith. And let's touch bases though on animal rights. We have a
yeah,
mission.
yep, absolutely. For
Yes,
sure.
yes. Especially in my community, not to brag, but I just moved out here a couple years ago, so I'm learning again how the laws work out here. It's different for where I used to live, Las Vegas, Nevada. So they're very active out there, but this is a small town community, so it's going to be an uphill climb. Mm.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of places where it is an uphill climb, and thank goodness for folks like you that are willing to get involved. And you plant a seed, you start a movement just by taking action and getting your friends and family and colleagues to do so. So don't
Mhm.
quit, just keep it up.
And as a vegan myself, though, I mean, not that I impose, my diet on anybody on air, but then I quarterly invite those to go vegan, and try it. Respect for all creatures. So I'm not sure if you are, but give it a try. Yes, just thought I put it, shout you that,
Yep.
mention that. Okay, well, that's all I have to say, Debbie. Thank you so much. I had to reboot my laptop.
That's good though.
Technology.
And you got your headphones on. That's wonderful. And anybody that wants to join us that can download the app, the Podbean podcast app, from your laptop or your iPad or your tablet, but you will need a headphones with a mic or earbuds with a mic, and you're in. Okay, but you still have to start a free account up on the web. Voices Carry for Animals .podbean.com. Okay, and then follow and subscribe to Voices Carry for Animals, and then you're in. So you can, and it's great because if you're listening from uh, the laptop or the iPhone, iPad, you can see the chat room live, and you can interact. So, but it's awesome. But thanks you, Harold, for all your great support and everything, your ongoing support, because it means so much. Being a
You're
part of
welcome.
this. Yeah, that's what it takes. Got to keep it up. Be the voices for the animals. Strength in numbers, right, Mama Cat? Power in numbers. Yeah. So, but everyone, visit the Humane World for Animals website. And like I said, there is places you could take action. And for Horse again, I seen that today, Keith, where it gives an explanation what the Horse is, where you can take action. Awesome website, wonderful. It's all there. I don't have any questions about it. And I've been on there before signing petitions. So, when it was under Humane Society of the United States and also Humane Society of the States of International. See what's going on out of the country. I visit that also. Good when you're searching and they need help. Hey, do what you can because it means so much. Then you see them victories come through. Hey, look at this. I did. I was a part of that. Can't take credit, but I was a part of it, and I'm glad I went over there. So whatever with Keith out there doing all his hard work and inspiring work, please give him your support, everyone. After the show's downloaded, it will be probably within the next couple hours after it closes down that it'll be available for everyone to listen to that couldn't get to it to this evening or can you can listen to it 24/7 as because they're all archived. With Marty Oakley when I was on there, TS Radio Network. There's 163 shows on her network that I did, and I also co-hosted with her. With Against Elder Abuse, like over 75 shows. So I'm not giving up. I got my voice out there, and I look at it and I say, hey, this takes teamwork all the way. I never thought I had my own radio platform. And when Marty, was with me and she said they're the first shows and everything, and she was training me through the internet, okay, through emails and messages. So I can't thank her enough. I wish she could see what's going on today, but may she rest in peace. And that's what it inspires with great team players. I'll tell you that. Keeps me going, right?
That's
It,
right.
and will continue because we're not out to. I'm not in this for competition. I'm in it for change, and that's coming right from my heart. I'm in. I want to get change for these animals because they so well deserve. These horses are really suffering, everyone. And please visit their website and give me more, what's going on behind the scenes, because I seen that and kept reading it and this, and I got to go back and sign it because I was getting the show ready. But please pass it along. And like I said, Keith, I'm going to be sharing it all over the place probably tomorrow, okay, and over the
Terrific.
weekend when there's more people available. On the social media, because a lot of people working during the week, during the day. So some of them will miss it. So make sure you keep resharing it, okay? And that helps out.
I will be
Yep,
doing it for sure.
yep. Because the more help we got, the better it is. The faster the changes, everyone. But does anybody else have want to talk to Keith out there? Because I'm running over like I usually do. I wish I did this on Blog Talk, but I put it down an hour, so it shut down, and I should have done that. This one I got it for 2 hours at least. But I'm not staying on that long because then I gotta do some work afterwards, Keith. Get him out there.
It's
Yep.
important work for
Oh yeah,
sure.
this is very important. What's going on there now? The temporary promos is going to turn to a real one. How's that?
Terrific.
Yep.
Yep.
And I, yep. And I love this with the chat room. Like Harold said, you can interact with the guests and other, listeners and callers. So keep it up. And my mother, Moose, is listening in, but aka Pat Dahmer. Hi, Moose. Everybody in the chat room say, hi, Moose. And it's Mother's Day this weekend here, this Sunday, you guys. So happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, even mama cats, mama bears, mama dogs, all of them. The ones that out there working hard, and the single moms, and it's a tough world out there. It's not easy. But happy Mother's Day to my moose, my mom. That's another name for mom. Okay, she's been calling that for 50 years or more, and she loves it.
I had to make sure she liked it before I called her that.
Yeah, because you didn't want to,
I was
get.
like, I'm not calling her Moose. No.
But all the mothers out there, you know, hey, whether if they're deceased, light a candle for them, put them in your thoughts, and think about them because we're all on this earth temporarily, so we got to make the best of it.
Yep.
Yep.
Got to put all
So
your differences away. Mother's Day, you only get one. When she's gone, you'll be sorry you didn't.
that's right. Yep, and also everyone, there is. I'm gonna do a 360 here this Saturday. The United States Postal Service is having their Stamp Out Hunger Day, and leave your perishable cans or whatever out in your mailbox. Help out the hunger, okay? Because some of them are not as fortunate as we are. They're struggling. Put a smile on their face. Let them know that we do care. And a big shout out to all the postal carrier workers out there that's doing that extra step on Saturday to collect it. Okay, and it takes teamwork. They've been doing it for 33 years, and they even have on Facebook. They have a Facebook page helps stamp out hunger. Visit it, share it, put it in your stories. This is a big weekend coming up. So
I thought
from
that was just local.
no,
Huh.
it's nationwide. Nationwide throughout the United States.
Awesome.
Some, yep, clean out your closet, something you don't use. Everything can be handy to them. Let them know we care. Who are we as humanity if we keep seeing the suffering of others? It's humanity at work. Postal carriers picking it up, and that all delivering the mail and picking up those cans and whatever you can put in there. You can't put no like I'm not sure, but not. I was wondering if you could put some dog food or something in there because some of them probably have dog food, dogs and stuff, cats. But I have to check that out. You know,
I'm not
Every bit
positive.
helps.
Who said anything not perishable?
Yeah, everything right. Cans and anything that doesn't break, like glass. You know what I mean, or stuff like that. So help out the United States Postal Service. We get our mail delivered. They delivering package going out of their way. I know the mail carrier here. She's super nice, so I'll be getting stuff out to her tomorrow morning. So whatever can help. Let's see, it was 33 years and going, and they're not giving up because there's a lot of people out there with this inflation going on can't even afford to eat like they used
Well,
to. It's terrible, and the gas and
Station
all
Road.
and inflation. So whatever you can do, everyone, just help out. And then tell your mail carrier if you see him, thank you for all this extra work you're doing to help out the hungry out there, the poor. And during the year they have food banks where you could donate to around. You just have to search it. So every bit counts, everyone. Don't give up. So, but Keith, I'm going here, and if you have anything else you want to bring up,
Well,
you're more than welcome. I love the show, Keith. Another
yeah.
one that rocks. Yeah.
I agree. Well, there's a bill in Congress that's been introduced many years also called the SAFE Act, which is to end horse slaughter and export for slaughter. The numbers of horses in the United States that have been sent to Canada and Mexico for slaughter for human consumption has gone down drastically from the last 10 years ago or so. We're at the lowest number ever, but there's still about 20,000 horses that are being shipped, mostly to Mexico, a few thousand to Canada. We shut down the last slaughter plant, over about 15 years ago in the United States, but they're still being shipped across our borders. And so the SAFE Act is the legislation that will end that. And I don't think that has quite as many co-sponsors, but it's got quite a few. So if people want to help end horse slaughter permanently, and the export for slaughter of our American horses and donkeys, it covers all equines, they can take action on that as well.
Oh yeah, and I've had many shows on that, Keith. The Safe Act, and I think they had over 200 co-sponsors from the 23-24,
They
and
did.
it's been going for many years. So here's some more help we can get everyone on that Safe Act. Help out there horse slaughter. But the good news is it's came down, right, Keith? But it's still there, and we got to just eliminate it altogether because I've seen these horses. They get chased by helicopters, and they know it traumatizes them, and they put in kill pens. Make yourself aware of what's going on behind the scenes with BLM. Bureau Land Management. And then Echo, I just read on Cloud Foundation, the grandson of Cloud, they shot Cloud, and that's something that's terrible. And I shared it from the Cloud Foundation page, and I was like, "What is going on here? Why is this? This is disgusting." So we have to do something, everyone. We can't. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And
It's not
with
just the wild horses, but a lot of domestic horses. People who
yes,
decide they can't keep a horse anymore or whatever and take it to an auction thinking it's going to find a good home. And then there's kill buyers around the country at different auctions that go in and they scoop them up and they buy them for whatever little price they can get for them so that they can make money by sending them to Canada or Mexico. So the SAFE Act would end all of that. It's called the Save America's Forgotten Equines Act, and the number is HR 1661. So I don't have the link right now to share with folks to take action on that, but there is also a petition on that bill. And Debbie, I'll get that to you if you want to put it out with the other links on
yes,
soaring. That would be one way that people can help end horse slaughter. And it's bad enough that these horses are transported thousands of miles from wherever they originated across our borders to these slaughter plants across the line, the border. But the slaughter process itself is horrendous. I think probably all your listeners have heard about what's done to these horses, but it's they're completely afraid, in fear, in pain, and quite often the horses are not even completely unconscious when they start to dismember them. So it's just a grisly, horrible practice, and it's not really an industry; it's a byproduct of the U.S. horse industry. The horses fall through the cracks, and there's really only literally a few dozen Americans who participate in this kill buyer process where they go around buying the horses. So it's not like it's going to hurt the economy or anything like that. It's just a practice that's it's long overdue to have it ended. And again, the Save America's Forgotten Equines Act will do that.
yes. I mean, please, because as my memory was HR 3355 before, right? 2023 to 2024, with
I
all
think
those
that's right.
like,
Yes.
I think, I mean, I could be wrong. I have to look it on Congress.gov. But I will, if you pass that to me, I will get it out there because it needs to be passed. This BLM, what they're doing with these helicopters to these, and it's taxpayer funded. The taxpayers are paying for this. for animal cruelty front lines, okay? And alert yourself. Watch these videos. I can't take. I mean, it is so. I mean, wicked and so nasty how they're getting treated. They don't deserve that, you know. So wild horse and burros, let's protect them, you guys. Time is long overdue. You know, support the Safe Act, the Past Act. You know, take some time and take care of business. You know, that's what it takes. But Keith, I'm going to be closing down here. I goes, I'm going to do the more important work. This is important, but this other stuff is coming in. It's really going to get out there, okay? It's going to, wow.
Awesome.
Yes, yes. And please get with me. Send me whatever you can through email or my, Facebook through Messenger, and I'll get it out there, okay?
It'll be
But
on its way to you as soon as we sign off.
Oh, yeah, that's great. And it's always an honor to have you on and always welcome back. Like I said, keep everything you've done, through the app and the web, following me and all this. And then the next time you come on, which I want to have you on before the end of the year, is, all you got to do is send you an email invitation and you click it to join, or you can join. You'll get an alert on your phone and it'll say my show's starting up, click here to join. This is modern technology at its best. I love it. And then everyone, after I get everything published out there, it'll alert you, hey, this episode is now available, okay, has been published. Isn't that great? Right from your phone, your iPad, whatever you're coming from, but can't wait to have you back on there, Keith. I'd love another show. You're rocking the airways for the horses. Love it.
um,
Yes.
I love being on the show, and I look forward to the next time.
All right. And it's such an honor. Keep it up. You got us. You got our support, okay? And we'll
Yep.
get you more support.
Many, many thanks.
Yes, you're so welcome. And anyway, everyone, next week we're going to have a new one. I'm changing the time because my guests we got two newbies coming on, okay? They're from the UK. So my show is going to be at 3 o'clock next week, Thursday, May 15th. 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Mountain, and 12 o'clock Pacific. Okay, listening worldwide. We're going to be talking about the dark secrets from inside of the dolphin world. Okay, with David Hallberg and Tracy Hallward. Okay, so welcome them aboard from the UK. I changed the time because it's more comfortable for them, so it won't be like, I don't know, midnight or so to call in. Midnight to 1 in the morning. So I do that to change it, okay? But Mama Cat, I can't thank you enough for all your team support, okay? And all what you do. Darla, thank you for joining us, and Harlan, all my great team players,
Thank you.
and all of you that's tuning in this evening. Can't thank you enough for helping out and being there. And you want to come and get to the show, get a hold of me. I'll walk you through it, okay? And help you along the way, because it's no problem at all, okay? So, but thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there, mama cats and mama bears, mama dogs, your mothers at home. Give them a big hug, spend some time with them, because we don't have them forever, okay? And even if they're deceased, light that candle, because our mothers, they're hard workers out there. It's never easy in raising children in this day and age, So give them your best, Tell them you love them, and be by their side, because one day they won't be here and you won't be able to tell them, okay? So, and if they're just, like I said, light a candle up, because I know some out there that get depressed because their mother's not here. She's gone. May they rest in peace, but think about them, okay? And tomorrow, or I'm sorry, Friday or Saturday, hey, get out there and give up the milk carriers a big thank you for collecting all this food for the hunger. Help stamp out hunger, okay? Thank them and leave what you can, okay? So, but anyway, we want to welcome David and Tracy next Thursday, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern. I hope I change it on the promo like that. I don't mess up, but I'm usually pretty good at that when they're out of the country. But anyway, Keith, thank you so much. And Mama Cat, meow. Thank you all. I really love this podcast. 480 shows and counting this evening. Isn't that great, Keith?
Yes,
And
wonderful.
oh
Terrific.
my god, it just uplifts me so much that I never gave up. And Blog Talk said goodbye there, and I still kept going. So I'm not giving up. But as soon as I get all this done, I'll send you the new link, Keith, so you'll have it. And I'm going to pull some of your other shows that you did, so you'll have them, okay? Because
Yes,
a lot of
great.
my guests don't even know that I kept them, and stored them in two different places. Now they're all over the place, so made it safe. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening and hope you enjoyed the show. Please take that action because that's where it counts, okay? Take that action. Contact your legislators. Be professional and polite. And let's get this past act, let's get it passed, okay? Not failed, passed. And let's get up to that. We got a goal to reach 290 co-sponsors, okay? We're not going to be happy with 245,
That's
right,
right.
Keith?
That's right. We got
So
to push for all of them.
yeah, that's right. And the safe pack. We got a list. Visit their website. There's petitions. It don't take that long to get them letters through. Sign them in. Bam. It's fast, right? But that signature, I said I let my fingers do the walking, but in this case, I let my fingers do the running because now I'm really fast. And this is not like asking you to run around the block 3 times because you're sitting in your home and your computer and your phone. It can't get no easier, everyone. Okay, it can't get no easier. And help them making them positive changes. But thank you, everyone. And thank you all for tuning in. Have a nice and peaceful weekend. Remember to keep supporting Voices Care for Animals podcast. Not asking for donations. Just give me your support and spread the word, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you, Darla. And you're awesome too, okay? You're awesome. And all of you rock, okay? Hey, teamwork rocks and teamwork wins. Good night, everyone. And may
Night.
God
Good night.
bless you all. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Thank you,
Hooves
Deb.
in hand, united we stand
Against
against all horse cruelty across the
the
land.
land.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank
Good night,
you.
Mama Cat.
Great.
Good
Night.
night.